Well, hello, good afternoon. It's about 20 to 3 on Friday afternoon, the 17th of March. And I've just kicked off work early. I'm off on my first bivvy of 2017. I've just joined the Two Tunnels cycleway, which is very close to where I live. Tell you a little bit more about the route as I go along. Well, the route I take out towards Midsummer Norton mainly traces the route of the old Somerset and Dorset Railway, which closed in 1966. There's this one little bit around Wellow and Stoney Litterton where you have to go via some really nice lanes. Actually, it's not exactly a hardship. And then there's 3 places of interest in the next few miles, so I'll maybe stop at each one of them. So the first railway connection as you come off the track at Wellow is this viaduct, the Wellow Viaduct. Like many of the structures around here, you can actually see the seam running right through the middle of the arch there. And the story behind that is the railway was originally built for single track, and then after about 20 years it was doubled. And the original structure on the left hand side here, they're often stone, and then you'll see on the right hand side it's brick. So many of the bridges and viaducts you see on the old route between Bath and Shepton Mallet Evercreech Way, you sort of see the same sort of pattern where they were doubled. So I guess in its heyday it was actually quite busy at first, but the story goes they originally bankrupted themselves building the line because there were so many viaducts, tunnels as it cut across the Mendips. So point of interest number 2 as you come through Wellow, there's the old Wellow station there, which looks like it could have been used yesterday actually. It's a private residence now. You can just see the slight slope of the platform at the end still. That lovely view across there. Really nice weather vane up there. Here's a picture from sunnier times. Little bit of 1960s pop trivia here as well. The actual previous owner of this building, after it was a station, was Peter Blake, the guy who actually designed the front cover for the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper album. In fact, there's a signal box quite close attached to this landing. That was his actually art studio. So I'm actually running parallel on some really nice lanes at the moment, parallel to the track of the old Somerset and Dorset. And the third point of interest here, right next to Wellow Brook, is Foxcote Viaduct, which you can probably see has been converted into quite a nice private dwelling, complete with a turf roof as well. Very sort of grand designs, eco-friendly. Well, it's now 4 o'clock and I've just passed through Radstock, the former mining town. Signs of spring everywhere, daffodils all about. So now might be a good time to sort of explain what I'm doing and where I'm going. All through the winter I kept meaning to go bivvying up to Beacon Batts, which is the highest point up on the Mendips, 1,066 feet. Some points of interest up there as well, but several things kept cropping up. Had a spell of good weather which looked ideal for a bivvy, and then I noticed a split on the rim of my touring bike, just had to shelve it, and then by the time I got the wheel replaced, the weather had changed, then some work turned up and various bits and bobs. So the weather's turned really nice recently. Been working most of March, haven't got out much, so I promised myself I'd get away this weekend, and I was going to go up to Beacon Batts. And then the weather forecast at lunchtime was strong winds up to 40 miles an hour, and also there's some rain forecast later on, and it just didn't seem to make sense to go up that high. And also I want to go up there and enjoy it as well. So where I'm now heading is up on the Mendips anyway. I'm going to be almost as high, but I'm going to be in some woods at Stock Hill Plantation. It's near Priddy. I'll actually, here is a map of where my route and where the finish point is. And the reason for that decision was I'm not going to be a lot lower, but I'll be surrounded by trees which will hopefully shelter me from the wings. It's actually quite hard work riding into it even now at quite low level. and also with trees, quite often you can sort of shelter yourself from the rain as well. So we'll sort of see if it turned out to be a good decision. Bradstock on the trackbed of the old Bristol to Frome Railway, and this ran right next to the Somerset and Dorset Railway, literally about a quarter of a mile back in the centre of Bradstock, and you can see how the Somerset and Dorset climbs straight from Bradstock up to its precipitous summit on the Mendips at 811 feet at Masbury. So I'm going to press on now to Ston Easton, and then I'll be starting my own climb up over the Mendips. Well, it's now 7:15. I'm bivvied up in Stockhill Forest. So after I left Radstock, it was actually quite a hard slog up onto the Mendips, mainly because of the wind really, and also I was getting quite cold as well. I was in shorts as well. By the time I got here, I was shivering a bit, so I set up my bivvy. I actually went to chop some wood, just on the off chance I might be able to start a fire, and that actually warmed me up a bit. But when I went to light the fire, it just came on to rain, and I just figured I'd probably just want to get in my bivvy and stay in the dry, and also the wood would have just caused a lot of smoke. It seemed more trouble than it's worth, which is a shame really. But you can hear the wind whistling in the trees and feel quite sheltered from the rain here as well. I'm so glad I'm not up on Beacon Batch, so I think it was a wise move. So dark in here, it's really fantastic. Solid fuel stove, cooking some pasta. Then I'll add chili con carne into that. I've got some bread rolls and some butter and a couple of cans of Heineken to my bike with just a cover over it. If it had been nice, I'd have turned that cover into a basher. I've got a few guy ropes with me, but I'm just using it to protect the bike really. Shows you just how dark the forest is. Well, it's only 8:30, but I don't know if you can hear it, it's really raining quite heavily now, and I just love just being a few inches away from rain, just hearing it on the other side of the fly sheet. It's absolutely fantastic. So I really think I made the right decision not going up to Beacon Batch tonight. It would have been quite exposed up there, quite high, and I think I'd have really been getting the full brunt of the rain and the wind, whereas here I sort of feel quite protected. But I'm just loving this sound of the rain on the About 5 minutes after getting into the bivvy, I was in my sleeping bag. I was so warm, I just had to start trying to strip off some clothes in the sleeping bag, which is a bit difficult because it's quite restricted movement in here. Yeah, so the plan for 2017 was always to do more touring, bivvying and camping, and I did my first bothy overnight back in October. I definitely want to do some more bothying. I've been sort of thinking about this possible sort of tour, multi-accommodation tour. It's just an idea at the moment, nothing concrete, but where I'd sort of go off and maybe bivvy, bothy, even a travel lodge possibly, and just sort of see if I can do a sort of tour with different forms of accommodation. Quite like sort of putting different ideas together and different activities. That's what I really liked it over the winter, riding DIY 200s to youth hostels. That was really good because it sort of forced me to stay out all day and get there in the dark, because otherwise I would sort of try to get there for 5 o'clock at opening time. That's another idea of sort of putting different types of events together and just sort of seeing what you get as a result. May bank holiday weekend, I'm going off with Bristol CTC down to Exmoor. They've got exclusive hire of Exmoor Bunkhouse. It's near Linton and Lynmouth, so I'm really looking forward to that. That should be good. Going down on the Friday, I'll meet them there, and then go out and do day rides Saturday, Sunday, and then I'll ride back on the Monday. I think there's going to be a meal with wine as well, so that should be really good. So I'm just loving this bit up here on this like wild and windy and wet night. Actually, it's so cosy in here. Well, hello, good morning. It's 7:30 in the morning now. It's quite wild night actually. The rain lashing down on the bivvy. Felt really cosy in here. This morning I can really hear the wind sort of blowing hard through the tops of the trees, but being down in this sort of quite dense woodland, sort of feel quite protected from it. I don't think it's actually raining at the moment, although the rain's dripping on the tent. It's just a residue from last night's rain. So give you a little idea of where I am. This quite dense coniferous woodland. I'm actually bivvied on top of moss as well, so it felt really comfortable. So you can see just in the far distance there's some trees really blowing about. I made sure I camped right by really strong trees, nothing that is likely to come down, rocking or anything like that. Well, it's 9 o'clock in the morning now. I've pretty much packed up my bike and my bivvy. I'm just getting ready to pack the bivvy up there. The bike's been under that sheet all night. There's actually a bench just over there. I'm going to head over there in just a second, turn the sheet inside out so it's got the dry surface, just to really get my bike packed, give me a sort of a work surface to load everything out really well before I head off. So like I said last night, it just started raining as I arrived here as I was cooking my tower. I even cut a few logs there to make a raft for a fire, but that just never happened, so I'll just scatter those before I leave. Pack the bivvy up, get all the bike loaded up. About 10-15 minutes I'll be on my way. So I'm just on a section of the busy A39, just for about a quarter of a mile. I'm going to turn off just as I pass the Mendip transmitter. But something that always interests me as I ride past this spot is this little statuette of Romulus. So I've just stopped in Masbury's Cafe for a bacon roll and a cup of coffee in the warm. I did bring some breakfast with me, but just wouldn't have been very nice to eat it at the camp. It's actually quite drizzly rain here now. So I'm now just skirting around the edge of Midsummer Norton. When I drop down off to Mendip, you notice a change in weather straight away. It's stopped raining now. Still very windy, you can sort of hear it in the tops of the trees, but it seems quite sheltered from it here. And also it's behind me as well, which makes it so much easier than yesterday. You probably sort of see this area used to have quite a high concentration of collieries, and there's an old slag heap of spoil just behind me. You may sort of see it. The local scrambling club's out in force. You quite often see them riding up there. I think one's just about to go up there. There's one already at the top. There he goes, he's just arrived from the other side. As a motorcyclist myself, I would be up for going up, but look at that going down. That would scare the shit out of me. I'm just going to be cutting through the Cam Valley before I then climb up through Coombe Hay back into Bath. And you can see plenty of spoil heaps along there as well, because that is a coal mining valley, although those are not as well defined, they've all sort of been left to vegetation's growing over them, but there's certainly sort of indications there if you sort of look close enough. It's been a fantastic night's bivvy. It'd have been nice to have had a fire and sort of wake up this morning, cook myself some breakfast, but that's sort of bivvying really. That's like living outdoors, you can't always have the good conditions. Glad I came, still want to get up to Beacon Batch sometime. So as usual, thanks very much for watching, and till next time.